Well, this was a real pile of shit. Let's rank this film on the Cageometer.
All right, that leads us over to the most important question. Vince, where does G-Force from 2009 rate on your Cageometer?
Oh God, this is a 2 for me. Even as a kid's movie, this was fucking awful. This is a terrible movie. Give it a 2 out of 10. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, so I'm just leaving it at 2 out of 10. We bitched about it enough. Cage's performance, I'll give him a 7. I think he was one of the only people that brought something to the film. He brought that voice, which fit the character very well. His
for once it actually fit, like when he does a cartoon voice.
Yeah, and I feel like his cagey moments fit. It's supposed to be. It should have been like a fun, light film, like a funny kids film. So I felt like his cagey moments actually worked in this. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, everybody else was just flat. Dude. I mean, it wasn't hard to outshine anybody, and I feel like he was the only one that actually came with purpose and was trying to make his character enjoyable and fit what you want in a kid's film, which is kind of an over top character sometimes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll give him a 7. That's it. I'm done with this film.
All right, Nigel, where does G-Force rate on your Cageometer?
Yeah, this one for some reason was like so much harder to watch than even the other crappy animated ones we've just watched. I don't know what it was. It's just, I mean, I guess we've talked about it. I'm not a big fan of the Bruckheimer formula films anyway, and this was like the worst out of any of the ones we've seen. So yeah, it's a 2 for me too, just because there's no way I'd watch it. Like, kids don't even seem like they would like it. My kids weren't into it. It's stupid in the worst way possible and not all that entertaining. The one positive note I can give on it is that the CG looks good. Like the for having a movie made up entirely of CG guinea pigs, they look fine. They're pretty damn good for the time being, and they still look pretty good today. So I'll give him props. Mm-hmm. The director, who's only done visual effects aside from this movie, did a really good job with the visual effects, and I'm sure that's why he was chosen, because he said this is the first time Disney had done a live action cartoon CG blending thing like this. So I think they picked a good guy, or Jerry Bruckheimer picked a good guy to do it. It's just that the script sucks and the story's dumb and it's not that entertaining for kids, and they just this weird mismatch of like stuff that adults might find funny and stuff that kids might find funny, but they're neither one is that great. Performances are pretty dull from everybody. It's just forgettable and not, especially with kids' movies, there's so many more options you can watch to entertain kids and adults alike, and this is not one of them. Mm-hmm. For Nicolas Cage, I really enjoyed him in it, actually. Weirdly enough, he disappeared into this role somehow. Maybe it's not that weird because he's not actually playing himself. He's playing a character, and so it's easier to disassociate. But like I said, had we not watched all these Nicolas Cage stuff, I may have not even noticed that it was him until they said it in the credits, because I think he did a good job of being the only one that actually felt like a character instead of just the actors reading lines in a booth. Mm-hmm. I guess him and Zach Galifianakis was fine too. I think both of them tried to actually bring some character to it. So I give him an 8 in this one. It's his best animated performance or voice work yet that I've seen, and I think he did a really good job of doing what makes, I guess, bringing a voice to a cartoon character in a successful way. He kind of knew the assignment, did it well, especially when you compare it to some of his other animated stuff we've said. It just kind of sounds like Nick Cage in some of his other ones, but this one he definitely sounded like Speckles the mole to me. So, yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, the one time it's made sense,
right?
On my Cageometer, I think I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I think it's I get the luxury of luxury. I get the luxury of sitting through this thing, going scene by scene by scene, when I do the breakdown and stuff. And I actually enjoyed it more the second time around. It did, it's not great. I'm giving it a 4. Not not a great movie, but I feel like it has its moments. I could see where it would be fun to watch as a kid, but I guess your kids didn't enjoy it at all, Nigel. So
maybe when they're a little older, but
maybe I'm imposing myself as a child in there, and not.
I just kind of feel like there's too much live action for at least young kids to really care about it.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's like
10-year-olds
7-8.
might like it.
Yeah.
But
Something like that. I don't know. I ended up enjoying it more. I thought the action for what it was, I mean, it's a bunch of fucking fake guinea pigs jumping around. I thought the action was actually pretty good. I thought the CG was really well done, especially for 2009. I do feel like it holds up after 15 years of seeing much better animated films after this. But I do think it holds up. I felt like they did a pretty good job on all of them, feeling kind of like, I don't know. I mean, they're all pretty flat aside from Cage, but they at least have their own personalities somewhat.
Yeah.
But it's just Tracy Morgan playing Tracy Morgan and Penelope Cruz playing Penelope Cruz and Sam Rockwell giving the flattest performance of his career.
Yeah, that was so disappointing. Yeah.
Which is sad. But overall, it's not a great movie. It's a 4 in my book. It's not good by any stretch. But I did think that there were redeeming qualities. I thought the cinematography was pretty solid throughout. Mm-hmm. I felt like the color grade, even though it was by Michael Bay-esque, actually fit pretty well for this, because it was almost like a parody of those types of action movies, which is like, having the guy who created that genre be the one who does this parody of that genre actually kind of makes sense. Actually kind of fits. But overall, not great. Wouldn't recommend it. My least favorite of the animated films so far, and we did the Ant Bully, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I gave the Ant Bully a lower score, though. That was mostly because it's ugly as shit.
So.
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of where I came with my rating. It's like I feel like I liked this less than any other ones we watched. I had to give it. I think I gave one of them a 3, and I can't remember which one.
Probably the Ant Bully.
But so I was like, I have to come in a little lower. I agree with all you're saying, though. But
the things that are redeeming in this is mostly the visuals.
Yeah,
story is awful. The continuity is terrible. The plot holes are everywhere.
Oh my god, left and right.
But yeah, visually pretty great. I mean, still holds up. For Cage, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 7. Just same things you guys said. He disappears into the role. This is finally him doing a voice that makes sense for a character. Why did he do that voice for Peggy Sue Got Married? Doesn't make any sense. Makes sense here. Mm-hmm. I did feel like some of the cagey moments kind of pulled me out just a little bit, like the over-the-top pronunciation of certain words. Like, why? Why did he have to polynomial nodes? Like, those pulled me out a little bit, so that brings it down a little bit. But still, I think 7. I don't know. I'm not going to harp anymore on this. It's fucking G-Force. Let's move on.
G-Force.
G-Force. G-Force.
If they would have thrown some of that in, that would have been awesome. There's more War on Echo and G-Force.
That's Will. Yeah, at the end in South Pole.
Yeah. I would have given it a 10 if that was the case.